Hey, I'm Noodle Yeti, and welcome to Cardinalia. Today I am excited. So we're going to be filling out this area with residential and about 3 raw resource generators. Why? Well, that's because if you could probably see in the background here, quite a few complaining industry buildings about not enough workers. So here's the plan. We're going to be adding in a residential neighborhood right about here, a commercial block over in this area, as well as, in order to round this area out, some kind of a bridge or a road of some sort that passes over the highway and hooks up over here. So that way they have access to the highway on this side. So that way it's not just one giant cul-de-sac. Now, as you could probably tell from the interchange and things like that, I messed up in the last episode. I had even thought about it and put it in the plan that I needed to save space, that way I could put a road over the freeway so it's all kind of in one area, possibly even just mixed into the interchange. And I completely forgot. I don't know what happened, but we're going to be attempting to remedy that today. Alright, so much like the last episode, I think the first thing we want to do is buy the tiles that I think will make this convenient, easy, and that are necessary. So I'm going to buy all 4 of these. I don't know how much this tile is really worth it, but it does kind of cut over into this little area a little bit, and I don't want that to come back and bite us in the future. But I think the first thing I want to do is start to extend our arterial over here. So I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to kind of grab this, grab our, what is it? The continuous tool. And then I kind of want to just drag this along some contour lines here. Now, we don't want to get too crazy with this. We're just going to kind of bring this along over here, maybe follow one of the existing contour lines. And then I was actually thinking of replacing this rail line with an actual road. Like, oh, wait, what in the world? Hold on a second here. Is this actually possible? Wait, what? Well, wait, can you put rail lines on roads? What in the world? Is this intended? I'm not sure this is intended, but if it is, it's really cool. What? I'm sorry. I'm just kind of caught up on this. I don't know why this is even allowed or what the purpose of that is, but I think what I was trying to say here is that I don't know who, sorry, I'm just so off, I got caught so off guard by that. Judging by the size and the terrain of our map, I don't think we would be able to fit all of the necessary buildings and infrastructure in order to even use railway for any capacity, whether cargo or passenger. So I think I'm actually just going to pretend that we're reusing this rail line and we're just paving over maybe all of this whatever, or who knows what, and then turning this into like some kind of a highway or a bridge that'll allow us to cross over into this island over here in the future. I think that's a good use of it. So I'm actually going to get that done real quick, and I will try and time lapse it, and I will be right back. Alright, here we are, and it's been quite a bit of time since I built out or did that time lapse here, and I changed a couple things, and I kind of want to show what I did. So I changed this from 4-lane road to a 2-lane highway. I raised the ground up to then bring the bridge over this other highway, and I just ran it all the way down. Now over here where the old rail line was, I wanted to make this feel like we were just taking that and then repaving over it. So I did my best to demolish and follow along exactly with a highway. And I really kind of like it. I think it'll be really neat, especially if we're going to be building down here in the bottom with homes and other buildings and commercial and whatnot, to have this highway that comes out and across the water out into the next island for whatever we're going to put out there in the future. Now, obviously, we can't connect these up, so we're going to have to deal with this right here for a little while, but that's okay. As soon as we eventually want to develop into this island over here, we'll be able to continue the highway along into that. But I really like the idea of taking advantage of that existing infrastructure. So I'm actually thinking the first area I'd like to start filling in would actually be this neighborhood right over here. And is that an accident in the water? Hold on, what? Yeah, that's a car. You see that? There's a sedan. How did this happen? What? Hold on. What? Well, you know what? I think we're just gonna go ahead and leave that be. How? Okay, alright, well, anyways, back to the task at hand. I was thinking about putting a residential neighborhood over here. I'm sorry, that just caught me so off guard over there. I can't, yet again, I think last episode, or was it last episode or was it this episode something caught me off guard? I can't even remember, but my goodness, things are just all sorts of weirdness. But I think for the roads in this area, I'm actually going to want to take advantage of this grid tool here. And I was thinking, turn on our contour lines here to see where we want it, and then just kind of dragging it along and having it bump up against a lot of these hills over here. Oh, that is a terrible angle. Hold on a minute here. That was not what we wanted. Let's try from this side. Let's go maybe right about there to there. Or do we want to drag it all the way out to over here? Let's try this, and then we'll drag it up this way. Up until maybe right about there. We'll have to drag that in a little bit. I think that'll be good enough for our grid in here. Now, I would like to make a smaller little grid, maybe over here. So let's see if we can do that. Maybe something like that, and then bring it up to right about there. That looks to be about fine. And then maybe we could think about something over here as well, where we can do like a really small one, maybe like right here. Just a quick little turnaround point right there. And that way from here off of this corner, we can flatten out a pad. Yet again, take our terraforming tools here, and then just kind of follow along the ocean here, cutting into the hill and then dumping it to the left where all the little ridges are. I think that'll be kind of nice. And then from here, we can actually think about then winding this road up from here and then plugging it into the highway. We can just leave it as a T intersection. I don't think this highway is actually going to see a lot of use. I actually really only have this here just that way this entire area is not one big cul-de-sac. So I think if we plug this in up there, it should be perfectly fine. And I'm thinking this is actually kind of nice. I mean, if we really want to get into it, we could actually maybe grab another terrain height up here and then create another pad up here. Maybe something like that, where we can have maybe 2 rows of homes up here. I think that would be kind of cool. Maybe we can push this out a little bit further. Now this cliff is absolutely massive now that I'm looking at it. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. But just in case, let's actually go down 2 contour lines here and then just give ourselves a little bit more wiggle room with this cliff in between these 2 pads here. But yeah, I'm thinking that's looking pretty good, and I'm thinking this grid is perfectly fine. Now, as far as this grid goes, I was actually thinking for down in here, push the I button so we could see, we're actually going to have to use the North American row housing to fit under here. Well, I want to use row housing, and for the row housing, we're going to have to use the NA one. I believe the EU one is too tall to fit under this building. And I think under this bridge, and I think to prove that if we just do this, you'll see that these ones will never grow in. But if we come over here to the NA, you could see it immediately zones in. These ones are capable of growing in underneath this bridge here. Now for these ones, I was actually thinking about going 3 deep on either side, something like that, but then leaving an empty space in the middle where we can have maybe a path and some trees. And same thing on this one over here and this block over here. I would just kind of like to have a lot more green space and empty space. Now I was only going to do the row housing over here on this side. As soon as we get over here, I was thinking about doing maybe some low density homes. And then over here, actually maybe over here we could put down a couple commercial buildings. 10 that's like their supermarket or something like that. Come in here, just put them down. I don't want to go too crazy. I think I'm going to want to zone these in fairly small, and maybe on a similar note as the residential homes over here, keep these relatively small, maybe 3x3s, and what is that, the 2x3 or something like that. Then yet again have maybe a path in here and some trees and some connections, just to make this area a lot more walkable. So I think I'm going to go ahead and quickly just snap in the roads, because we did just do a timeline. I mean, it has been a few minutes since the last time lapse. I think that's a little bit too close, so I will be right back. And here we are. Oh, and we got a new signature building, Bolter Pines. All right, well, two birds with one stone. I finished the road layout here, and we got a new signature building. That's kind of neat. Oh, shoot, I actually didn't mean to press play yet. But as you can see, we got it all zoning in. That's probably why we got it. And I really had a lot of fun with this zoning here. So let's go ahead and push pause so I can kind of show you guys. So right around where this highway goes through, I wanted to put in like all of the medium density, and I even got the opportunity to toss in a couple low rent housing buildings right here, right next to the freeway. We got one 3x3 right here, and then we got a 4x3 right here as well. And then for all of these areas, I even kind of lined them with a little bit of offices. These ones aren't going to zone in for quite some time, because as you remember from our industry stuff, or if you don't remember, you might have missed it or whatever, it didn't interest you, we put a whole bunch of offices over there as well. And so these ones that we put in here probably aren't going to show up for quite a while. But I had some fun with creating this little commercial area here, and even over here where I even snuck in a couple offices to act as maybe a buffer. Actually, now that I think about it, we probably want this one to be an office as well right there. Kind of add more of a buffer between the low density and the commercial. But either way, I'm liking it. And I even added in, if we leave this view, some pedestrian roads, kind of like this. Actually, I kind of want to demolish those. I'm hoping for a one singular large 6x6 commercial building to zone in. I don't know why we're having such a hard time with them zoning in separately, but whatever, I'll fix that later. I want one really large commercial building right there, but I wanted these pedestrian roads like this to kind of give a feel of more of a commercial centric area where you kind of just get out, you walk around, you have a good time. But something that we did forget over here in this area, and even over here in the industry actually, is parking. We completely forgot about it. It's something that we have not been paying attention to. So let's go ahead and come in here. And I was actually thinking about the medium parking lot. As you can see, it's already selected. And I kind of want to put just some of these around over here, like maybe one over here, one over there, maybe even one right there. And as you can tell, I already put one over here with all of these medium density homes. And I'm thinking that looks perfectly fine. We can add maybe a pathway through here that gives the walkability from these homes up here, something like that. But I'm liking it, and I'm thinking those parking lots should be enough. And we can kind of just watch this grow in and maybe see what it's going to look like here in a little bit. But I'm liking it. I'm thinking this area is looking pretty good. We got commercial, different types of residential densities. I think this really will help pull us through and move us into a better place for our industry. Now, unfortunately, we do still have an absolute ton of commercial demand. And if you remember from the plan, I did say that I wanted to put some right up in here, up in this little armpit here. And I'm thinking that it's going to be a good place for it, especially since it's right next to all of this medium and low income housing. It makes it easier for them to just walk right over to the commercial center or something like that. Now, I believe something else I did change that I didn't say that I would is I downgraded this 4-lane road back down to this highway here. I think it'd just fit the aesthetics of this area better. I think it'll just go better here. And that's why I did it. I think it would look good. It would kind of be kind of cool. And that's why I did it. Now for all of these homes over here, well, I suppose we could probably demolish all these pathways, but I decided to go for North American low density, and I did these really small 3x3s with a space of 2 between each, because I want this area to feel a little bit more rural. And in order to add to that, I even went with these 2-lane alleyways just to kind of like symbolize that it's just a really sloppily done paved road or whatever that people live off of. And they get this really nice view of this lake over here or something like that, with the one draw side being that they're living off of one of the major roads over here. And I'm thinking, I'm actually really liking this area. Just looking at it, I think with trees and pathways and terraforming, this area is actually going to look really good, and it's going to feel like it's already a secluded area that's separate from the rest of the city. And I think that's going to have some kind of demand from the rest, some kind of a demand that maybe not, that can't be simulated in this game, but I know there's going to be people out there who would like to live in something like this. So I'm happy with that, and I think now we can actually move into this commercial area. I wanted to, but then I got distracted by the highway downgrade or upgrade or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, I think this is where I'll actually time-lapse it, so I will be right back. Here we are. We got the commercial area built up, zoned in, and you can see a lot of empty space here. And well, that is actually because a lot of this zoning is office. So we are not going to be seeing that zone in for quite some time, but I am okay with that. Now in here, I wanted to use the pedestrian pathways because yet again, I just wanted to make this place feel like it's something you could just walk around and enjoy. Although I don't know why we have a gas station there. Probably suppose I should go through here, maybe demolish some of these ones with excessive parking like that one or something like that until we get things that kind of make a little bit more sense. And then I peppered in a bunch of low rent, high density in here just to kind of, I don't know. I think I went a little bit too scattered with it. I think I probably should have kept these central to maybe over on this end where it's a little bit thinner right up by the highway here. But I'm okay with that. And I think this is, I'd have to say this is looking decent. At least decent enough that I won't be too upset with it. However, as we were watching the time lapse there for everything to grow in, this road right here, right in between the roundabout on the right and the junction on the left, it was backing up with traffic sometimes, and it would actually back up into the roundabout. And I kind of sat back for a second and looked at this, and it didn't take me long to realize that the entrances to this place are very far off on either side. So that means that both of those are going to see a lot of traffic. So I took one look at this through the topographical kind of view here, and here's my idea. I'm thinking that from this intersection down here, I want to bring down a road, possibly from, let's say, right about here. We'll just kind of bring it straight down over here. And then we're going to take maybe, let's just do a highway. Let's do the 2-lane highway here. We'll come in with the continuous, and we're just going to kind of follow up this little ridge thing that I just made here. And as soon as we get up to the top, I want to, well, actually, is that too close to the roundabout? I don't think that is too close to the roundabout. So why don't we just go ahead and plug that in right up there? And that way we give them a very quick and easy way in and out of here. So that way they're not backing up in this very, very small little area here. Just to kind of help relieve all the traffic issues in this region. I think that should be it. Although when I'm going around detailing and fixing things, I'll have to get rid of things like this with that wall or whatever that is. I forget what the word is for that. But all in all, I'm really liking this. I think the only thing left now is to add in the few industry buildings I said I wanted to add, as well as maybe just detailing and things like that. Detailing, adding paths. Well, I can't really say detailing yet because we don't have the ability to use props, but what I can do is just add a whole bunch of trees and pathways. And I think that's all that's left. So I think for now, I'm just going to time lapse putting down a few industry buildings and then go into the time lapse or the detailing stuff. But you know what? I think I should probably show you guys where I'm going to be doing this stuff and why. So let's look at our natural resources here. Off in this area, we have all of our fertile land. And I was thinking about putting a few farms over here. And we have a whole bunch of trees where I'd like to put a couple forestry industry as well. And the reason is because if we go into our production panel here, we can see that we're in this absolutely massive deficit of everything. And the things that are the worst is wood, grain, chicken, and it looks like it's a tie between vegetables and rocks. As far as oil, metal, and coal goes, those are the ones that I just don't even want in the city, so I have the tax rates raised higher. So if these businesses start to complain and then go out of business because everything's so expensive, I don't care. I just let them leave or whatever, and hopefully we get stuff that we actually want. But I'm thinking about putting down 2 wood productions, all grain farming, and I think that's going to be about it for today in this area, because I really just want to finish this area out. I think it's been a long time since I've actually finished an area in City Skylines, and I think that's just what I want to do over here. So I think now is when I'll just get into the time lapses, then get into the trees and pathways, and then from there I'll kind of take us on a quick little tour of the city to show off what we've done. So I will be right back. Alright, here we are. I've got the paths all done up, put up a whole bunch of trees and bushes and whatnot, and I even went around with terraforming just to clean up some of them nasty looking cliffs or whatever we had going on, even the whatchamacallit, that wall, retaining wall. That's what it's called, a retaining wall. And I even did some things that I didn't put in the time lapse, such as work through this junction here. Now, in an ideal world, I would have had this left lane just being able to go straight through without having to do a little bit of a wonky thing here. And same on this side, just have the left lane go straight through. But it is what it is. We got a little bit of weirdness going on here and a lot of lane markings in the middle of this, but that's okay. I ended up putting a light junction there just in case, just to help prevent a little bit of traffic accidents. But I figured this intersection over here, this one was perfectly fine. I don't think this one's going to see nearly as much use. So I just left it alone and people will have to yield to the highway. But yeah, I'm thinking this looks pretty good. I'm actually... I mean, as far as the neighborhood over here goes, like this whole area with this small thing on the left and then this area over here, I'm really liking this. I'm thinking it actually looks really good. and I'm glad I did it. As far as some of this other stuff goes, like this whole row of row housing and this commercial block up over here, I think I could have done a better job, done things just a little bit differently, but you know what? I'm okay with it. And oddly enough, almost all of our high rent complaints went away, and I have no idea why. No idea what happened, but that area seems to still stay the same. That area is really complaining about rent, but this is still something I'm still trying to figure out. And we have, what in the hold on a minute here? Is this traffic or is this accidents? This is traffic. Wow, interesting. We have high traffic in this area, and I wonder what's going on. I think we'll have to figure this out at a later date, but for now, we will just go ahead and forget about it. I'm really happy with this area. I'm thinking it's looking really good. As a whole, this whole entire area, I'm actually really liking it a lot. There's a lot of mistakes, especially with terraforming and whatnot. I looked at the industry area, but I meant to look over here. Especially with the terraforming over here. I think what I should have done is gone with the 2-lane alleys and then only did zoning on one side of the streets. And I think that would have helped out with the terrain a tremendous amount, just like we did originally over in this neighborhood, where the terrain doesn't look too bad and everything looks kind of nice. You don't have this really weird deforming of the building pads like you get over here, but it is what it is. And I'm really liking this. Yeah. Thank you for watching. I really learned a lot. Well, I think I'm learning a lot, and I hope you guys are too. So, bye for now.